So quickly before the video starts, I got a new PC, and with my recording software, there was a mic issue. So if you're wearing headphones for this video, you may only hear it out of one ear, but it would sound normally if you just listen to it on a speaker. It'll be fixed for future videos. I just wanted to let you guys know. It's not on your end, it was on mine. So now that the 2024 trade deadline is in the books, we pretty much know where every draft pick is going for the 2024 NBA draft. So I'm going to be doing my second mock draft of the season so far. It's going to be a full first round mock. Obviously, we could see some trades happen before the draft happens, but I'm very excited to be doing this. And if you guys enjoyed the draft content and want to see more mock drafts, feel free to drop a thumbs up. I would appreciate that and know to keep providing you guys this content going forward. So we're here on Fanspo. It's the best place to do NBA mock drafts in my opinion. Not sponsored by Fanspo or anything, but they have all the trade machines. You can do a draft lottery. You can create your own big board and a bunch of stuff there. So what they also can do is I can create and view a lottery simulation. So you know what? We're just going to simulate the lottery here. Is Detroit going to get really unlucky? Let's find out. And we know that the Pelicans have 14. Okay, it's going down. That's actually pretty cool. So the Pistons still stay at number 1. You're welcome, Pistons fans. The Hornets jump up 2 spots. Atlanta is going to be picking at number 3. That's exciting. Houston at 4 via Brooklyn. Washington, San Antonio, Portland, Memphis, and San Antonio all get bumped out. Toronto is not going to keep that first rounder. All right, so let's get into this. So if the Detroit Pistons have the number 1 overall pick, they could go a couple different routes. I think they would stay away from the point guards in this class, like a Nikola Topic, a Robert Dillingham, and Isaiah Collier, Stephon Castle. It's pretty much crowded in that backcourt right now with Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. Marcus Sasser has been playing well, and they probably would like to add another veteran. We know that they traded away Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks at the deadline. They drafted Asor Thompson 5th overall last year. I think they could be maybe in the market to look at Cody Williams or Jacoby Walter with the number 1 pick, but I think they would stay away from centers and backcourt guys. I think they could look maybe at Cody Williams to play the 3 because he is 6'8", but they could look at Zachary Risa-Sher over from France. He's going to be very efficient and could be a great complementary piece to Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, but I still think I would go with Alexander Sarr with the number 1 overall pick. You could put him next to Jalen Duren. I think he's going to be a way better rim protector, just overall defender than Duren and Isaiah Stewart is for them. He could also space the floor eventually and be a very skilled offensive big man with his handle at 7'1". I think if it was Detroit with the number 1 overall pick, I would look into Sarr. I would look into Risa-Sher. There's a chance I would look into Ron Holland if he is able to develop an outside shot, but we have yet to see that from him in the G League Ignite. Risa-Sher looks like a great complementary piece at the 3 or the 4. I think he could have some momentum to go number 1 to Detroit, but we're going to have them select Alexander Sarr here with the number 1 overall pick in my mock. So we got the Hornets here picking at number 2. They obviously blew up their team at the deadline. They traded Terry Rozier a couple weeks before. They moved Gordon Hayward and PJ Washington. I'm sure they would have liked to move Miles Bridges as well, but he didn't want to get traded. I think they're a team that could look at Zachary Risa-Sher out of Charlotte. They obviously have their franchise forward in Brandon Miller. I think there's a realm in which they would like to maybe put somebody next to LaMelo Ball, and I don't think that's like Nick Smith Jr. long term. But Risa-Sher could be out on the floor there with Brandon Miller, have some size and versatility and some great shooting with your forwards behind LaMelo Ball in the scoring pecking order, and you also have a great center that's young in Mark Williams right now. So I think Zachary Risa-Sher would be the pick. He's a good spot-up shooter. He's efficient with the ball in his hands and could be a good defender with his developmental traits. The only thing about him is, though, I don't know if he's going to be a number 1 shot creator on a team, but with Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball, he doesn't need to. So I think that would actually be a great pick for Charlotte. I love that for them. All right, Atlanta at number 3 is very interesting just because I also don't think they would be going Nikola Topic here. Obviously, they have Trae Young. For now, they do have DeJounte Murray. So I think they would be a Cody Williams team. Cody Williams is my number 1 collegiate player right now, playing for the Colorado Buffaloes. He's very efficient. He's good at attacking the rim, an excellent driver. He can slash, he can cut, which would be perfect with Trae Young. He could maybe even be a stretch 4 and run some pick and pops with him. And Jalen Johnson as your forward combo for the future would be very fun. And Atlanta would kind of reload in the offseason. Imagine they got the number 3 overall pick with, I thought, a very talented roster, even though they have been underachieving this year. But Cody Williams would make them a very exciting team for the 2025 season and onwards. Okay, so the Rockets are here at number 4 via Brooklyn. They could go a different amount of possibilities here, but I'm going to have them go Jacoby Walter out of Baylor. So in my opinion, though, I do not think Walter is a top 5 player in this class. I have him in like the 7 to 9 range right now, but I think he's somebody that could be an off-ball spot-up shooter for Houston, and that's what they could look here at number 4. I don't think they would take another big man. They could look at Ron Holland here, but I think they would want somebody that could space the floor with his size, and Holland has not shown that capability with the G League Ignite. I mean, Nikola Topic could be fun. He's not going to be a good shooter, but they do have a Ben Thompson, who they took 4th overall last year. Still paying Fred VanVleet VanVleet right now. I also don't know about Jalen Green's future on this team with him being a free agent soon. So I'm going to have them go Jacoby Walter out of Baylor. That's not what I would do, but that's what I would be mocking right now if they were in this position. So at number 5, this is a no-brainer for the Washington Wizards. I'm going to have them select Nikola Topic, their point guard for the future. It's funny because I think if San Antonio and Washington are picking at like 2 and 3 and Sarr goes number 1, or they drop a couple spots and like Sarr and Risache are off the board, right? It's funny because I think whoever gets picked higher between the Wizards and the Spurs is automatically targeting in on Nikola Topic. I think Topic would be a great pick and roll partner with Victor Wembanyama for the next 10 to 15 years. They could be one of the best point guard center duos, and this would be a home run pick if San Antonio was picking there. But for Washington, this is the guy that could set up Denny Avdija. This is the guy that could set up Kyle Kuzma, hopefully to maybe bring a little bit of resurgence to the Jordan Poole career arc, which is obviously taking a massive step back this year. But I really like the idea of getting Topic and having him fit that timeline with Coulibaly and Denny Avdija. And speaking about Avdija, been super underrated this year. Okay, so now the Spurs are picking number 6. I'm going to have them go Robert Dillingham here out of Kentucky. He's somebody that I think could still be a very good playmaker at the next level, could set up Victor Wembanyama, which is honestly a top priority for the Spurs this offseason. But Dillingham has 3-level scoring potential. He's super athletic for his size at 6'2". Obviously, he needs to put on a little bit more weight, maybe get a little bit stronger to improve his defensive ability, but he could be a good long-term point guard for the San Antonio Spurs if Nikola Topic is off the board. So coming in here at number 7, we have the Portland Trailblazers. I feel like they can go a plethora of routes here, but I'm going to have them select Ron Holland out of the G League Ignite. This is where I think he can go. He's going to be a good defender. He's got the size. He's shown that ability with the Ignite this year. He's also been a very good scorer inside the paint. His 3-point shot, his pull-up jumpers have been a little bit inconsistent. I don't think he has the worst shot selection in the world. It's just not falling. And if he even showed the glimpse of progression into his outside jumper, I think he would be a consensus number 1 overall pick because he's a good defender. He's a great inside scorer. He's not a bad facilitator either. So I think this could be a great pick for the Blazers at number 7. And I could see a lineup next year of Scoot at the 1, Simons at the 2, Sharp at the 3, Holland at the 4. That is really fun to think about. So we have the Grizzlies here at number 8, kind of like the Hawks. They obviously had a down year, not really because of play. It's really because of injuries. And they could retool this offseason. And obviously they could look at like the center market because there's some solid centers in this class to pair up with Triple J in that front court. But I think if it's like not going to be Sarr, I don't really think I would take somebody like that here at number 8. So they could look for some offense off the bench, and that could be Reed Shepherd out of Kentucky, who has been just one of the most efficient collegiate players this year. He's a good playmaker. He's physical. He's a fantastic spot-up shooter, has a very high basketball IQ, and could maybe be out in a lineup with Ja at the 1. You'd bump Bane to the 3, but even though he could just run that second unit at times, and he could be a good defender at the next level, I think Reed Shepherd will be a top 10 pick. All right, so with the 9th overall pick, I'm going to have the San Antonio Spurs select Tidjane Salaün, also another French prospect as well. So they'd be getting 2 French guys in back-to-back years, obviously with Wemby last year. And he's somebody that has the size, the frame to be a stretch 4 at the NBA level. He's 6'9", 6'10". He's going to be 18 years old on draft night. Maybe a little bit of a project player, similar to like Coulibaly from last year, but the Spurs don't need to be good right away. They could also have another down year next year and really prioritize the development of Salaün, who could be a great power forward next to Wemby if he's able to be a good shooter right out the gate. So you know what? You're ending up with Dillingham and Salaün in this top 10. That's pretty nice if you're San Antonio. So we have the OKC Thunder with the 10th overall pick. There's some good guards on the board. There's obviously Matas Buzelis, who has not been a great shooter for the Ignite this year, but had all the intangibles coming into the year. But I'm actually going to have them go for a ready, win now caliber player just because I love this idea of him going to OKC, and that is Ryan Dunn. Obviously, they love Kayson Wallace's defense coming out of Kentucky last year, and Ryan Dunn is an incredible defender. He's a good slasher. He's a physical hustle player, and this is somebody exactly who OKC can use as they're trying to win a championship. He's better than like Christian Brown was when he came out of Kansas a couple years ago, in my opinion. Dunn can't really shoot the ball though, so he's not going to be the greatest floor spacer in the world, but this dude is basically Josh Hart, and that is a winning caliber player. So OKC is getting him there at number 10. We got Chicago at number 11. I think they could go with Matas Buzelis here. He's from Illinois. He could be a project player as Chicago hopefully enters somewhat of a rebuild. Who knows if Patrick Williams is going to be back next year. They kind of have an opening at that 3 or the 4 spot since DeRozan is a free agent as well. You're prioritizing Kobe White's development as he's arguably the most improved player this year, and Buzelis could be a great complementary piece to White going forward. He has the size, the frame to be a talented scorer at the next level. We'll see if Chicago can develop him. Okay, so with number 12, Portland did take a point guard last year in Scoot Henderson. We may see them move Malcolm Brogdon in the offseason. I think they could take a chance on Stephon Castle from UConn this year. Dealt with injuries in the beginning of the year, is obviously on a very good collegiate team where he's not like a number 1, 2, or 3 scoring option, but he's had a couple nice games as of late. He's improved as a scorer, as a facilitator. His 3-point shot is hit or miss at times, but he's also a good defender, and if he's the backup point guard to Scoot going into next year, that could be really fun for a Blazers team that doesn't even need to win next year. They could still develop these young guys. So I'm going to have Stephon Castle go to the Blazers there at 10, or excuse me, there at 12. So they ended with Castle and Holland there so far. That's pretty good. So here's what the first 12 picks look like. I think OKC could look to get some size, some rebounding there in that front court. They didn't really address that at the deadline, only picking up Gordon Hayward. I thought they would have tried to add like another rebounder, another big there. So I'm going to have them take one of these like tier of big men. I think Donovan Clingan right now is the first to go between him, Misi, Khalil Ware, and Kyle Filipowski. Misi has been great for Baylor though, so I could definitely see him go ahead of Clingan, but for now, I'm going to have them select Donovan Clingan, a bruiser, big man, great size, great frame, great rebounding ability here with their second first-round pick and selecting him at number 14. So now we got the Pelicans via the Lakers here. Actually, at number 14, I just said the Thunder's pick was at 14, but no, they were at 13. I think the Pelicans will also look for a big man just because Valanciunas is a free agent. They definitely wanted to address that at the deadline. Khalil Ware has better floor spacing ability than Misi does, but I think Misi's the better prospect right now, and I'm going to have them select Misi here with the last pick of the lottery and have him be the frontcourt partner with Zion Williamson next year. So here's what the lottery looks like. We'll go through kind of the next 16 picks a little bit quicker. I think Orlando is going to look for some shooting here, and I'm going to have them select Dalton Knecht, who's been phenomenal for the Volunteers this season. He really came along a couple years ago when he balled out for Northern Colorado. He's having a great year for Tennessee, could immediately be plugged in there at the shooting guard spot. He's 6'6" too, so they love their size there in Orlando, and he's somebody that can contribute to them right away as they're trying to probably be a top 6 seed and make the actual playoffs and not the play-in tournament in 2025. We got the Miami here at 16. Who's going to be the next Heat culture player? And I think that's going to be Isaiah Collier. This is probably the lowest you can have him going right now. I just think there would be a little bit of run on big men, and Collier's been inconsistent at times for the Trojans this year. They've definitely been a disappointing team, but he should probably go in the lottery in my opinion. The way this mock has just been constructed, he's going to go a little bit low. If I had to guess, he would go higher than 16 on draft night, but he would be an absolute steal for the Heat there. So we get the first of 2 New York Knicks first rounders. They have the Dallas first rounder right here. I mean, with Hardenstein being a free agent, I think they can go after a big man. I'm kind of between Filipowski or Khalil Ware, and Ware has the ability to space the floor like Filipowski does, but I think he could be a target here, a little bit more of a better defensive prospect than Filipowski is. So I'm going to have the Knicks select him. But then with the next pick to Toronto, I'm going to have them select Kyle Filipowski. He's a little bit more NBA ready as well. So Toronto's probably trying to make the play-in tournament next year. I mean, they still have a good team with Scotty Barnes, RJ quickly, hopefully coming back. They still have Jakob Poeltl. They traded for Kelly Olynyk and Ochai Agbaji at the deadline. And hey, there's a chance they get 2 first-round picks here, but with their first rounder, I'm going to have them select Filipowski out of Duke. Good rebounder, good inside scorer, and can space the floor at times as well. So now we have the Hawks second first rounder. This is from the Kevin Huerter trade from a couple years back. And I think Kevin McCullough here out of Kansas could be the pick. He's another senior, good shot creator, and another scorer that could be a complementary piece to Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. Could definitely come off that bench, especially if they don't have any future plans for AJ Griffin, which has just been kind of a weird situation for him in Atlanta this season. And with Saddiq Bey being a free agent, they could add McCullough here. So far in this draft for Atlanta, they have landed Cody Williams and Kevin McCullough. That is kind of sweet, I can't lie. So we have the Suns picking here at number 20. Do I have them select Bronny James so LeBron will sign with them? No, we're not going to do that. I don't think I'd be surprised if I see them select Edie here, who is somebody that can come in right away and contribute. He's not a project player. Their window is kind of closing as Kevin Durant gets older. Nurkic maybe isn't the best center to have in the world. I'm not a huge fan of Edie. I wouldn't take him in the top 20, but this is such a Matt Ishbia pick if I've seen one in James Jones. I feel like they've been making 2K moves ever since they've been a part of the Suns, so I'm going to have Edie go to the Suns there at 20. Pelicans at 21. I love the idea of Tyler Smith, who has a size, versatility as a stretch 4 because he has some floor spacing ability that he showcased with the G League Ignite this year. He could be a nice second first rounder for the Pelicans because they ended up having them select Yves Missi before, so they're getting a lot of size in this mock. not. I'm gonna have the Sixers get another Kentucky point guard like they did in the 2020 draft when they selected Tyrese Maxey. They're gonna be selecting DJ Wagner here, who definitely has some upside as like a playmaking pseudo guard for them off the bench to be behind Tyrese Maxey. And I think Wagner could be a good defender at the NBA level as well. I could see them going with some guard depth here with their first rounder. We got the Bucks picking here at 23. I like the idea of Jared McCain going to them, as McCain has just done nothing but shoot the lights out for the Duke Blue Devils this year, and he could be a nice spot up shooter or secondary shot creator for maybe the second unit of Milwaukee going forward. So we have 7 more picks of the lottery. We have the New York Knicks selecting here at number 24. I recently had them select Kel'el Ware a little bit earlier at pick 17, and I'm gonna have them select Bobby Klintman, who's currently playing in the NBL right now. He definitely has also size, frame, athleticism, versatility to play maybe the 3, the 4, or even the small ball 5. He could be a respectable shooter, a respectable defender, and probably a project play with the Knicks here at 24, and they could develop him as well because they don't need him to contribute in 2025. We have the Cavs here at number 25. They are probably going to lose Okoro in free agency. They could look to bring him back, so they could look for a more defensive-minded guy. I'm going to have them select, though, Isan Almanso, who definitely prioritizes defense for the G League Ignite. Definitely limited on the offensive side of the ball, but could be a very good inside scorer and could be a nice bench big to Jared Allen and Evan Mobley for the next couple of seasons. For the Thunder, 26, I'm going to have them select Oso Ighodaro out of Marquette. Another senior, but somebody that could be a rim runner, a great shot blocker, another physical big man that the Thunder could definitely use here going forward. And so far, that was their 3rd first-round pick. We're prioritizing defense and rebounding here. They get Ryan Dunn, Donovan Clingan, and Ighodaro, which they're going to definitely utilize in the 2025 season because they could all be plug-and-play defenders, hustle guys, and even just off-ball offensive players as they're trying to win a championship again in 2025 and years going forward. So we have the Minnesota Timberwolves here at 27. I like them going the idea of Trey Alexander out of Creighton. We'll see if Mike Conley and or Monty Morris is back next year, but he could be a combo guard. He could play the 1 or the 2 and be a nice shot creator and playmaker for them off the bench. I'm going to have the Raptors select another big man here. It's going to be Aaron Bradshaw out of Kentucky. Hasn't played a lot this year, had some injuries as well, and he's somebody that could be your prototypical shot blocking big man, but maybe needs a couple years to develop. And I don't think Toronto is trying to win that much going forward, and he could be behind Jakob Poeltl for a little bit. And they're going to land Filipowski and Bradshaw from 2 prestigious colleges here with their 2 first-rounders. Denver taking somebody that could help them contribute right away in Tyrese Proctor, be a backup point guard, even a combo guard for them, and just be a part of that young core, joining Christian Brown, Julian Strother, Peyton Watson, and even a little bit of a Zeke Naji resurgence next year. And with the last pick in the first round, we got the Boston Celtics, and I'm going to have them select PJ Hall out of Clemson, somebody that's actually a very talented offensive player, a good physical inside big man, and I feel like the Celtics do need some big man depth because Xavier Tillman is an unrestricted free agent. We all know about Kristaps Porzingis' injury concerns. Al Horford's getting up there in age. Hall could come and be a nice rotational big for them as they're trying to maybe repeat as champions if they do win it all this year. So yeah, that is going to be my second mock draft of the 2024 NBA draft. I love Sarr going to Detroit, Reese Asher going to Charlotte. Washington finds their franchise point guard in Nikola Topic. I love Reed Shepherd coming in right away to help Memphis try to win in 2025. Tijan Salon gets to be a nice floor spacer next to Wemby. The Thunder get 3 complimentary defenders, hustle guys, in Ighodaro, Clingan, and Ryan Dunn. So yeah, let me know what you enjoyed or what you agree or disagree with about this mock draft in the comments below. And like I said before, drop a like if you guys do want to see more mock draft content going forward. I'm going to be talking a ton about the 2024 NBA draft on my podcast. Link to the YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts are in the description, so make sure you're following and subscribing over there. Thank you all for watching, though. Drop a like if you did enjoy, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.